Kunja Bihari. A little bit quieter because we have no mic. Gopijana Ballabha Girivara Hari. Gopijana Ballabha Girivara Hari. Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janaballabha Girivara Hari Jai Gopi Janaballabha Girivara Hari Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Is there any chance of a mic? Any chance of a mic? Any chance of a microphone? Yeah. Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Gauranga, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki, Shri Gauratai ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Shabhadra ki, Shri Radha Giridhari ki, Jai Nivashantam ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Premanandi, all glorious to the assembled devotees, All glories to Sri Guru Garanga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namai Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nivasesha Sunivadi Pastichari Shatari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're reading today from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 17, text number 27. Is there any event on the Vaishnava calendar today?
I think so.
I don't have a track of the events here in Auckland. Or anything coming up soon?
Saturday is Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj.
Oh, appearance day.
Saturday.
On Saturday, wonderful. And yesterday?
Yesterday.
Nothing? Okay, good. We haven't missed any specific events. But we have missed another opportunity to become Krishna conscious in one sense. I'm sure we could have been more Krishna conscious yesterday. We can try more today to remember Krishna. The Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared, Maharaj Prithu has appeared, although he appears to be angry at the earth. Sometimes we get angry at the earth, right? When we don't get what we want. Why is this happening to me? Why is the weather like this? Why is this disaster happening? Sometimes we may get a little angry too. Maybe not consciously, as if the earth is a living entity, which it is, but we may not be conscious of that. But Maharaj Prithu here is directly confronting Mother Earth. He's angry. Why is he angry? Why is he angry? Huh? Okay, that's fine. Why is he angry? Whoop. Up she goes, down she goes. There she goes. Haribo. Jai ho, Haribo. Well, wonderful to see. We can have a game of football now. Ishan's brought a football with him. There we go. We can enjoy ourselves. Nobody will notice it. Is it online? Is it on the New Varsham, whatever? Is it recorded? Is it shown to others or what? Yes or no? No, it is not shown on Zoom or something like that. I don't know. Someone told me the classes were on Zoom, but maybe not today.
Someone usually does it.
Okay, anyway, no problem. It's not a... Did you dress Prabhupada this morning? Did you dress Srila Prabhupada? No. Very nicely done, whoever did. Well done. Hare Krishna. So, why is Prithu Maharaj angry at the earth? He didn't like that. Pardon? The earth is not providing what is necessary for the citizens, and the various grains and so on and so forth are not coming forth for various reasons. Earth, Mother Earth. Prabhupada says she can provide far more than she's providing right now. There's something not quite right with this. It's kind of like, but it's a reciprocation according to the living entities. But nonetheless, now things have changed. Mother Earth should provide So Maharaj Prithu is getting angry with the earth. It's all a very special pastime. Presumably there are lessons being taught here also. Prithu Maharaj is not an ordinary person, of course. Mother Earth is not obligated just because we say, give me this. But in this case, Mother Earth is obligated. Why? Because Prithu Maharaj is none other than?
He's done all the yajnas and
Pardon?
he's done all the worship and the sacrifices.
He didn't. I didn't catch that.
He's ruled the kingdom how he's supposed to.
Yes, he's ruling properly, and thus the earth should provide. And also, who is Prithu Maharaj?
Shakti-Avesh avatar.
Yes, he's an expansion, and sometimes it's Shakti-Avesh avatar. He's an expansion of the Lord's energy. So definitely the earth should reciprocate. There's other aspects pastime here. So today we're reading text number 27. Mother Earth is trying to justify her situation. King Prithu is countering it and justifying his proposal, practically speaking, that he's about to kill the earth. The earth has appeared before him in the form of a cow. And probably mentions this a kind of a trickery because, well, we usually understand the Mother Earth does appear in the form of a cow. He's a cow of plenty, providing all the needs of society, but at the same time, it's a bit of a trickery because one would not want to kill a cow. No pious person would dream of killing a cow. So in this case, of course, Maharaj Prithu is manifesting great anger and is ready to cut the cow into thousands of pieces. You're cheating. Unusual, you could say. But this Prithu is not an ordinary person. So we'll read the verse today, text 27. Tvam stabdam dharmadam nitva maya gang kilashaha sharai Atma Yoga Balanema Dharayishyami Ahang Prajaha Tvang Stabdam Dharmadam Nidva Maya Gang Tilashaksharahi Atma Yoga Balanema Dharayishyamyaham prajaha Tvang stabdhang dharmadam nitva Maya gang tilashaksharahi Atma yoga balenema Dharayishyamyaham prajaha Tvang stabdhang dharmadam nitva Maya gang tilashaksharahi Atma yoga balenema Dharayishyamyaham prajaha
Stabdam Durvadam Nitva Mayagam Tilashashray Atma Yoga Balenema
Dharayishyamyaham prajaha. Anybody else like to chant? Okay. Tram, you. Stabdham, very much puffed up. Durmadam, mad. Nitva, bringing into such a condition. Mayagam, false cow. Tilashaha, into small particles like grains. Today's verse. Shiraihi, by my arrows. Atma, personal. Yoga Balena, by mystic power. Imaha, all these. Darayishami, shall uphold. Aham, I. Prajaha, all the citizens, or all the living entities. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. King Prithu talking to Mother Earth in the form of the cow. He says, you are very much puffed up with pride and have become almost insane. It's one of the enemies of the living entities, isn't it? We have 6 enemies, right? Your next door neighbor sometimes. The president of the country, maybe some other devotee somewhere, or maybe one of your family members. Who else have you got as enemies? Tax collector, I don't know. No, these are not our enemies. Who are our enemies? Mr. Lust. Huh? Lust, greed, anger. You could say Prithu also is getting angry, but the anger of Prithu is for the benefit. Anger, all these things can be utilized in Krishna's service. But usually we're controlled by them. And today's one is what? So lust, greed, anger, envy, madness. Madness is pride. Mada, mad. It's all the same word almost, mada. And illusion, false identity. So these enemies of the living entity. Why? Huh? They're not for our real self-interest, that's for sure. Everything can be used in Krishna's service. But we have to be careful. We don't get overwhelmed. And controlled by these various enemies. So you are very much puffed up, he said, to the earth, with pride. You've become almost insane. Presently, you have assumed the form of a cow by your mystic powers. Nonetheless, I shall cut you into small pieces like grain, and I will uphold the entire population by my personal mystic powers. It sounds a little bit, you could say, Prithu Maharaj is getting angry, maybe he's also puffed up. I will do it by my mystic powers. I don't need you. I can do it. Sometimes we think like that. Do you ever get your kids say like that? You ever notice that? Kitty? I can do it. I don't need you. You know how long it lasts. It doesn't last very long. We sometimes get proud like this. And sometimes anger comes as a result, of course. And it seems like Prithu Maharaj is getting a bit worked up here. I'll cut you up into little pieces like grain. If you don't do what I tell you to do. Purport. The earth informed King Prithu that if he destroyed her, he and his subjects would all... The earth had informed King Prithu that if he destroyed her, he and his subjects would all fall down into the water of the Garbha ocean. You're basically cutting off the hand that feeds you. It's because, you're getting upset. King Prithu now replies to that point. Although the earth assumed the shape of a cow by her mystic powers in order to be saved from being killed by the king, because kill a cow is considered to be very sinful. The king was aware of this fact and would not hesitate to cut her to pieces, just like small bits of grain. As far as the destruction of the citizens is concerned, Maharaj Prithu maintained that he could uphold everyone by his own mystic powers. He did not need the help of the earthly planet. Being the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, Maharaj Prithu possessed the power of Sankarsana, which is explained by the scientists as the power of gravitation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is holding millions of planets in space without any support. Similarly, Prithu Maharaj would not have had any difficulty supporting all of his citizens and himself in space without the help of the planet Earth. Wow, powerful. The Lord is known as Yogeshwara, master of all mystic powers. Consequently, the planet Earth was informed by the king that she should not worry about his standing without her help. So what can we learn from this, if anything? What can we learn? Sounds very kind of mystical. Mother Earth appearing as a cow. King Prithu, who's sometimes said as a Shakti of Asia, is described that he is Lord Vishnu himself, getting angry and saying, I don't care about what you say, I'll cut you to pieces, I can maintain it, I don't need you. Mother Earth's a great devotee of the Lord. Very, very important role. Earth planet is very significant in the universe. I don't need you. Of course, Krishna doesn't need the demigods. Doesn't need anyone, really, in one sense. What can we learn?
We have an opportunity to do service, but Krishna doesn't need us to do it.
That's one point, exactly, isn't it? And sometimes when we get this opportunity, which is our constitutional position, devotional service is naturally, it's not just an activity, as we've been hearing, it's devotional service is behavior, consciousness, attitude which pleases Krishna. Playing one's part, playing our role, constitutional role, which of course is to serve Krishna. So that's one thing. And following up on that, yes, continue.
What came to mind when I heard that was I was reminded of Krishna's 6 opulences, and that renunciation is one of them. And at some point, Krishna can be very renounced for all the right purposes, and that it kind of establishes Krishna's supremacy, that he is independent. That's just what came to mind, and that if it pleases Krishna, we might do a service which we did not intend to do, but at that time might be a suitable service.
I got so far there, I didn't quite catch the renunciation aspect clearly. Maybe it's my ears, but a little echoey, and I couldn't quite pick it up. Renunciation, you were saying it reminded you of Krishna's opulences, particularly the opulence of renunciation. And how does that refer to this?
To his independence, to Krishna's
go slowly. Independent.
He doesn't actually need that. He can be without.
He completely, He's not depending on it, right, exactly. He's completely independent. It's a more expanded understanding. Very good. And he's not attached to it. Sometimes we get in a position we become attached, of course. He's given the opportunity for his parts and parcels to play their part, but he's not depending upon them. Is that what you mean? Okay, good, very good point. We also have to remember that. Huh? He's not depending upon us. Sometimes we think, when we go, and many of you here at Radhakatma Prabhu will know this quite well, he spent a lot of his time collecting money for the service of the Lord, right, amongst Indian people. And you will sometimes find that they think that you're depending on them, isn't it? They think it belongs to them, and you're a beggar, and it's me who's, making. They don't have any realization at all. Completely, you could say completely in Maya, and by the mercy of the Lord in the case here, being given the chance to render service, but you think now it's me. This is the demoniac mentality. I'm of course not saying that they're demons, but it's a demoniac mentality to think that I'm the doer. That I'm the doer, depending on me. The Mother Earth saying, if you do this, the Earth will fall down into our planetary systems. She's feeling compassionate, you could say, in one sense, but from another perspective, it's a misunderstanding. It is not depending upon me. What else can we learn on this?
It's not good to be proud.
Not good to be proud. Oh, that's a pretty simple one and pretty obvious one. What is pride? What is pride?
Take credit.
Take credit?
Thinking you're the doer.
Thinking you're the doer? Is there anything, is that enough? Or maybe there's more? What are the symptoms of pride?
To feel superior. To feel superior.
Feel superior, okay, yeah.
Neglect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Pardon?
Neglecting the Supreme
Neglecting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yeah. All related to what you've been saying. It's just, and what does Krishna say about one who's proud? What's that verse in the Bible? Prakrite priyamani? No, what is it? Yeah, Prakrite priyamani gurunai savasa. How's it go? Ahankara vibhudatma kataramiti manyate. What does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita?
Bewildering. That pride that bewilders.
Pardon? It's like back and forth like this. Is there anyone else in the team?
He thinks he's the doer of activities that are actually carried out by the material nature. But he's a fool thinking he's the doer.
Yeah, simply a madman. Thinking I'm the doer, you're a madman. You're a fool. So where are we going here? So how does this apply to us? It'd be nice if we had one of these portable mics, It's a very beautiful and big temple, but it's very hard to hear. And the echoes as well. How can we get that one? I don't know what to do. Nowadays everything's on Zoom, so I guess you don't have the same problem.
Here there's a saying that the pride comes before fall down.
Pride comes before fall. Yeah. That's interesting here, isn't it? Because Mother Earth, according to Prita Maharaj, is proud, right? And she's saying, if you cut me to pieces, the earth is going to fall. You see it the other way around, in a sense, isn't it interesting? Oh. And we often get into this mood, everything depends on me. We get in a position, we get really attached, we think we're the doer, Everyone's depending on me. If I'm not here, what will happen? Isn't it? Even in our efforts to become Krishna conscious, we get into this mood, Little lessons to learn. You can say it's not necessarily entirely pride, of course. We're trying to dedicate our lives to whatever service we're doing. But sometimes Krishna takes it away. It's not that he doesn't want us to serve, but he doesn't want that, even up to the point, I tell you, up to the point of Guru, GBC, Sannyasi. Krishna has another plan. He wants us to go back to Godhead. However, whatever we're doing in this world is fine, maybe. But if it's touched with this pride or this thinking that I'm the source of the success because of me, whatever it is, or my idea, my money, my intelligence, my qualifications, that doesn't bring pleasure to Krishna. He may tolerate, as little children, parents tolerate, but they expect them to mature. So when the time's right, Krishna sometimes, what's that verse Prabhupada used to quote regularly? From the 10th canto, I think, Srimad Bhagavatam, I think, Yasyaham Anagrinami, getting old, forgetting. Prabhupada will quote it quite often. Are you going to school? What time does school start?
The teachers have to be there around this time, and school starts at 9:25.
9:25. Huh? Well, should I give you the surprise now? You wrote to me last night. We're in the bag. I won't declare what we're doing here. It's a Maha Suite, very special one. You like pink or purple? Lucky dip. Pink or purple? Which you like? Purple. Okay. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Give it to Mum. She knows what it is. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day at school. I will pop in to wave from the window if I have the time today. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
See you later. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada. Now, it's hard to see from the material perspective because we are all affected somewhat by pride and by illusion. Maybe the other ones also come and go. Envy and lust and anger and greed and so on. They can, as we heard earlier, they can all be used in Krishna service. But sometimes we forget Krishna. We become a little self-conscious, self-centered. So Krishna, he loves us. He wants to take away that which is blocking us. Look the verse up. Yasyaham Anagrinami. Find it, please. I like to read it. Srila Prabhupada, even we're reading this book of Hari Sori Prabhu. And even there Srila Prabhupada is reminding us all. In his last days on the planet, his godbrothers, many of them are coming to see him. And he's begging their forgiveness. He said, sometimes I became a little proud. Yeah, because of my opulences in one sense, successes. Please forgive me. Even Prabhupada was also reminding us too, not that Prabhupada ever became proud. Proud of the opportunity to serve as Guru Maharaj is another thing. But in terms of taking credit, Prabhupada never took the credit. He always gave all the credit to his Gurudev. Thank you, that was marvelous. This is text number 8 of the 10th canto, chapter 88. Haribo, where are you going? Pardon? Haribo, Raghu. Hare Krishna. We'll see you later. Haribo. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Oh, no, you don't have to change it. Yasyaham madvinami harishe taddanam shanai tato dhanam tyajantyasya svajana dukkadukitams. The personality of God had said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. This is not a very popular verse for most Hindus especially, right? If you tell this to the Indian community, those who are not serious about devotional service, they won't be very attracted, will they? If Krishna especially favors someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. And a lot of people don't like to worship Krishna. He's known as Hari, Hari means? Takes away, He takes away. You can also get, but especially he's known as one who takes away. They don't like this picture of Krishna, especially South Indians. They don't like this picture of Krishna playing the flute. Why? When he plays his flute, he takes everything away. He takes your heart. He steals everything. Right? He's a real thief. Especially when he plays his flute. So they don't like this picture in their house. They think they're going to lose everything. I noticed that when were you part of our poster selling team at one time, Alec? I think you're not in that team. We were doing books as well. We were selling posters of Krishna all over in Malaysia for a couple of years. Thousands, tens of thousands of posters being sold. But most of them didn't like that one. Not they didn't like it, but they didn't want it, the one of Krishna playing the flute.
They only like Makanchur.
Huh?
They only like
Makanchur?
Makanchur. Krishna's theme.
Yeah, they like Makanchur. That was a popular one, like anything. They liked the swing one as well. Krishna and Radharani swinging, a very popular one. Some of them liked Parthasrati, some of them really didn't like it. It had a dual effect, the war scene, create, war within the family or something, but some of them love the painting. It's all material, seeing Krishna as a material provider. His business, Krishna's business is to provide for me. We have this is pride. Seeing ourselves in the center. Krishna's there to provide for me, basically. More or less, anyway. But here we see that when I especially favor someone, especially Haribo. Oh, look at this, another. Oh, you should be in school. No, on the way. Oh, it's pretty early right now. So, even we have a hard time with that, don't we? Let's face it, We don't always see Krishna's higher purposes going on here, like in this particular pastime. It's hard to see. We're trying to defend ourselves, and even very nice arguments sometimes, justification, and still we're frustrated. And Krishna, it's like your kids sometimes. They demand, they get frustrated. Sometimes you have to give them just to keep them quiet. But Krishna wants to take away whatever is an obstacle. Whatever is an obstacle. He won't take it away necessarily if it's not an obstacle. Sometimes he does to teach others. Even to advanced devotees he may seem to take away or put them in difficult situations to teach others. Because they're not affected by it. They just take Tenu kampam susamikshamana Punjana evat vekitav. That's also in the 10th canto, not in this volume, I don't think. No, that's in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto. Prabhupada himself says, this verse of Lord Brahma is the guideline for all devotees in our Krishna consciousness movement. You can look that one up, 10, 14, 8. If the book is there. This is exciting. What happens when Krishna takes it away is that relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. Just what every pious Hindu loves to hear about, doesn't it? Krishna takes away all your opulences, your family abandon you. Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this a wonderful reward for worshipping Krishna? Doesn't sound like it. In this way, the person, the jiva, suffers one distress after another. Phew, that doesn't sound very attractive. Well, we come, yeah, great, thanks, Paul. Devotees, I won't be able to read this, it's too long, this purport. Devotees of the Lord experience both happiness and distress. I won't read it, I'll just summarize. Devotional service eradicates all karma. Usually people only want the bad karma to be eradicated, don't they? What do you think? We just want the suffering to be eradicated. The frustrations, the stress, the anxiety. Next door neighbor, or the other enemies that we have, we want them to be eradicated, right? We don't want our good karma to be eradicated, do we? What do you think? Huh?
We want the karma to serve Krishna.
What was that?
She said we want good karma for our comfort to serve Krishna.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
The bad that we use for serving Krishna.
Both, okay. Devotees, when Prabhupada writes, he said, when you're happy in devotional service, you're getting freed of your good karma. When you're suffering, you're getting freed of your bad karma, whatever tokens are left. Not the one's better than the other necessarily. Of course we do want to have, but Krishna knows what's good for our real self-interest. And it's not just being able to do more, it's the attitude in which we live our lives, which we exist. Krishna's concerned with that. You know, even Lakshmi Devi. Now who can serve the Lord better than Lakshmi Devi, in one sense? But can she enter into the Rasa Leela? No. She can't enter in. Why? Why? I want to enter in. Krishna's taking away my voice. Why can't she enter in? Why can't she enter in? What chance do we have? Why can't she enter into the Rasa Leela?
She has the wrong mood.
She has the wrong mood. It's not her role. She's also being taught there, that's not her business. Her attitude, her flavor of loving service is not appropriate. Doesn't work. I guess you could say in the material world also, attitude plays a big part. If you don't have the right attitude, you can lose your position also. Huh? Some of you, I don't think the school teachers have left, but you have to have a right attitude. You may know the subject really well, but if you don't have the right attitude, it won't go down well. It won't work. What to speak of in devotional service? Prabhupada writes, everything depends on the attitude. Krishna wants, of course, what relationship we have, what our roles may be, that's another subject. But in principle, right now we still have an attitude affected by our enemies. And here one today is pride. Very prominent, this false ego. False ego. Krishna wants to take away our false ego. Because we're a long time identifying with this body, it's not easy to let go. But this is inconceivable mercy because we can't always understand it. A child cannot understand that the parent is acting for their welfare. when they don't let them play with a box of matches or a broken piece of glass or some indulging in some, eating something which is not good for you or whatever. They can't relate to it. You're getting in my way. You're interfering with my, my pleasure or my position. Krishna takes it away. To free us from that mud or that attachment or that bondage or that false understanding or thinking I'm the doer or depending upon material results or material things, or maybe just a situation which is not favorable for us to progress in spiritual life. But we see it from another angle. We see it from down up. So we may think this is a disaster, this is, everything is ruined, but everything, Krishna's hand is working in everything. Not a blade of grass moves without his will. He has a bigger plan. And in relationship to that bigger plan, there's some great quotes in this purport. This is a quotation from the Bhagavatam, first canto. How wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Look at the Pandavas, what they went through. Mother Kunti. There's trials and tribulations, things being taken away, one after the other, practically speaking. How can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira? Otherwise, rather, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Bhishma Dev speaking. And there's a great verse in the 10th canto also, spoken by Lord Brahma. And this, Prabhupada said, is the guideline for all devotees in our Krishna consciousness movement. The guideline. Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada describes this verse as our guideline. And many of you know it. Tate nukampam susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritang vapakam vedvagva pumir Vidadan namaste, jiveta yo mokti, pradesa dayabak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances within his heart. With his heart, words and body is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Look at the example of Maharaj Ambarish. What example do you see there? Can you think of something related to this?
Tolerance.
Not just tolerance, but more than tolerance. Who got angry with him because of pride? Durvasa. And Durvasa was accusing him, you are proud, you are puffed up. You think you're the king. You think you're a devotee. You are not a devotee at all. You're a cruel person. He was challenging like this. And what did Ambarish do? He could have countered it. It was very powerful. But what did he do? We are not God. We're not P2 Maharaj. We can't behave like that. What did Ambarish Maharaj do? Yeah, that was already said, but what else did he do? Tolerance has many different, it's also in the modes of nature, there's tolerance in different modes. What mode was he in?
Accepted it.
He accepted it, okay. Didn't react to it. What else? Was he in the modes of nature, tolerance and acceptance? That may be mode of goodness. It can also be in passion, by the way. Now, what mode was he in?
Goodness. Mode of goodness.
More than that.
Oh, Shuddha Sattva.
Transcendental. He simply took shelter of Krishna. Do what you like with me, my Lord. I deserve whatever punishment's coming along. He took it that way. He tolerated also, of course. He didn't react. But he just took shelter of Krishna. That's a little bit higher than just tolerating. So, here we see, he just patiently suffers the reactions and offers respectful obeisances with his heart, words and body, to the Lord. He doesn't ask the Lord for anything. Save me! Kill them! Help! He doesn't even ask for these things. Maybe in the neophyte stage we will. But this is the actual lesson here in this regards. In the purport, it's an amazing purport, quoting short purport. Srila Sridhar Swami explains in his commentary that just as a legitimate son has to simply remain alive to gain an inheritance from his father. This is the key feature, isn't it? If the son dies before the father, the son doesn't inherit anything. Even though the father's will says you inherit everything, but if you're not alive, what will you inherit? Nothing. Nothing. Then, following this Sridhar Maharaj's commentary on this, the original commentator on Bhagavatam, one who simply remains alive in Krishna consciousness, following the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga, automatically becomes eligible to receive the mercy of the personality of Godhead. And that mercy comes in so many different ways. Don't think it's all roses. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, those favored by God have their path set with thorns. Doesn't sound very attractive, does it? What are these bushes? Gorse bushes, huh? Set with gorse bushes. Not very attractive, is it? But, of course, he doesn't necessarily dump us in the deep end, by the way, as the time comes. Because those thorns remove other thorns. They remove our self-centered attitude, or whatever misunderstandings which we may have, doubts which we may have, etc., etc., false ideas of our own position. Krishna wants to remove them all. So there's just a pure, completely selfless, from our perspective, living entity, a jiva, just nothing but love for Krishna. Nothing else. No other. Giving up all sarvadharma pratitya, give up all other forms of shelter of all kind. In other words, he will be promoted to the kingdom of God. So we can stay in this world and, duality, good and bad, thinking I'm the doer, and so on and so forth. But that's not really our ultimate self-interest. The word susamikshamana indicates that a devotee earnestly awaits the mercy of the Lord, even while suffering the painful effects of previous sinful activity. Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that a devotee who fully surrenders unto him is no longer liable to suffer the reactions of his previous karma. Krishna is taking away not just the reactions of our karma in terms of suffering, but karma is very, very, almost all or pervasive in a sense, because the very attitude which we have and how we look at situations, how we look at ourselves and other people is also a karmic reaction. It's a karmic reaction. So he's taking that away as well. That's harder. Even if we understand philosophically, it's a little harder because we do have this, I can't say, almost eternally unending length of time, this false ego identifying with whatever we are now, and this is me, and the way I see things, and so on and so forth. It's very entrenched in our consciousness, and it takes time, exposure to the sound vibration, hearing attentively and submissively the Bhagavatam, and hearing from the pure devotees, rendering service, etc., submissively. All this takes time, We were here last night, third canto Bhagavatam. Lord Kapila Dev said, therefore, I can't remember the exact word, but the serious devotee has to attentively hear for a very long time to clear away this false ego. Krishna can remove it just like that, but otherwise it takes a long time to make this change. However, because in the devotee's mind we may still maintain the remnants of his previous sinful mentality, the Lord removes the last vestiges, traces, remains of his previous sinful mentality. The Lord removes his last vestiges, whatever it takes. How did he do it? By giving his devotee punishments that sometimes, you want some tissues or some water? What do you want? You want to go on the altar. Okay, that's a good solution. That's a very good solution. How does he do it? The Lord removes these last traces by sometimes he gives his devotee punishments that may resemble sinful reactions. Hare Krishna, Bhatra, Hare Bol. The purpose of the entire creation of God, the whole purpose of this creation is to rectify the living entity's tendency to enjoy without the Lord. It's the purpose of the whole creation. And therefore, the particular punishment given for a sinful activity is specifically designed to curtail the mentality that produced the activity. It's not just to punish us according to karma. It's to remove the mentality which causes us to act in a way that we become implicated in karma. It's a little bit deeper. He's not just thinking on the surface. Most people are thinking on the surface, God, please forgive me for my sins. But Krishna, really, if you're fortunate, he goes further than that. We don't usually want to stop what we're doing. We're a little attached to being the enjoyer, to being in the center, to being thinking I'm achiever, etc. Although a devotee has surrendered to the Lord's devotional service until he is completely perfect in Krishna consciousness, he may maintain a slight inclination to enjoy the false happiness of this world. I guess we all have to admit there is an element of that, or a degree of that in our lives. We still want to enjoy subtle or gross the material world. The Lord therefore creates a particular situation to eradicate this remaining enjoying spirit. It's not happening by chance. It's not because of your next door neighbor. It's not because of this person or that person, even in devotional service. The hand of the Lord is working behind everything. And to see that we're free. No longer need to blame anyone. No longer need to feel, threatened by anyone. Because we understand the hand of the Lord is working behind everything for our real welfare. The Lord therefore creates a particular situation to eradicate this remaining enjoying spirit. And then everything changes then. It's no longer, a situation of likes and dislikes and so on and so forth. This unhappiness suffered by a sincere devotee is not technically a karmic reaction. It is rather the Lord's special mercy for inducing his devotee to completely let go of the material world and return home back to Godhead. He wants us back to Godhead, not just nicely situated in this world, in one sense, heavenly planet or something. A sincere devotee earnestly desires to go back to the Lord's abode. Therefore he willingly accepts the Lord's merciful punishment and continues offering respects and obeisances to the Lord with his heart, words and body. Such a bona fide servant of the Lord, considering all hardship a small price to pay for gaining the personal association of the Lord. Just take, for instance, the example of Lord Chaitanya's personal servant, one of his close associates, his name was Mukunda. He had a few Mukundas, but this Mukunda. This Mukunda had a tendency to associate, due to family reasons, with persons who were inclined towards Mayavad. And this came to the attention of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was not very happy when he heard this. He said, this duplicitous fellow, he comes here and he's, as if he's like completely surrendered to Krishna, devotee, Vaishnava, and so on. Then he goes over there with the Mayavadis. I don't want to see this person any longer. And so Lord Chaitanya, what did Lord Chaitanya say? Tell him he's not allowed to come in my presence anymore. He's banned. What happened next? The devotees, Mukunda said nothing. He was obviously very sad and in one sense devastated. But the other devotees were thinking, this is a minor thing. Mukunda's your favorite. I think was he the singer maybe? But he was, Lord Chaitanya, one of his favorite devotees. He was so sweet devotee. It's just some family commitments. It wasn't like, same thing with Junior Haridas. I mean, he was begging some grains from Madhavi, one of the most senior Vaishnavis in the whole of Lord Chaitanya's associates. Just begging, and she was very old, and he just begged some grains so that he could render service to Lord Chaitanya to make nice prasad for him. Just because he was a sannyasi, just because of that, Lord Chaitanya banished him. You could say this is pretty extreme, but just to see how they respond is interesting. It's not so much the situation that we're put in, it's how we respond to it. We make mistakes, we are attached, but how do we respond to that? Do we continue to respond in a way which causes that same thing to happen again and again? Usually. We don't have to. And that's what Lord Brahma's teaching us here. And what, you could say, Mukunda's teaching also. So the devotees appealed, my Lord, please let him come back. Please let him come back. So, one day they went to see Mukunda. Mukunda said, please ask the Lord if I'll ever again be able to have his association. Will it be possible? So they asked the Lord, and Lord Chaitanya said, you can tell that duplicitous fellow, whatever he said, after 10 million lifetimes, he can have my association. What would you think, or what would we think if we were told that? What would you think? You probably want to commit suicide, right? Huh? It's a fate, I mean, it's just inconceivable. Inconceivable. It's like horrible. And then they told Mukunda. Mukunda started dancing. Oh, how merciful my Lord is! Only 10 million lifetimes! I can't relate to it, but this is... Yeah. And of course, then immediately, the Lord called him back straight away. It was going to be 10 million lifetimes. It's the attitude. It's the attitude. The same with that milk-drinking Brahmana who edged his way into the, kirtans of Srivas Thakur. He wasn't eligible. But when Lord Chaitanya saw that he was eligible because of his attitude, bringing him. It's the attitude, it's not externals. This person's right, this one's wrong, I'm this. These things go on, but Krishna wants our attitude to become completely, whatever you wish, my Lord, crush me in your embrace. He wants us to come to that platform. So in different ways these things happen in our lives, It's very hard when we go through it, it's frustrating. Such a bona fide servant of the Lord, considering all hardship a small price to pay for gaining the personal association of the Lord, certainly becomes a legitimate son of God, as indicated here by the words Dayabak. Just as one cannot approach the sun without becoming fire, one cannot approach the Supreme Pure, Lord Krishna, without undergoing a rigid purificatory process, which may appear like suffering, but which is in fact a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord. A lot of food for thought there. Hare Krishna, you may not be quite ready for such a heavy dose. So we all get little doses. Every day we get this test every day. Little one. Someone may say something we don't like and we react. Or some situation's not like we want it to be and we get upset or whatever. But to try to see and remember Krishna's hand working, to remove this pride, this false ego which covers the pure consciousness of the soul. The consciousness of the soul. Hare Krishna, heavy stuff. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Any questions?
How can we better recognize the mercy of the Lord?
How can we recognize it?
Yeah.
Well, in one sense, everything's the mercy of the Lord, in one sense. In another sense, you could say, is it the mercy of the Lord that we're behaving the way we are? Or we're forgetting Him? Or someone else is behaving in a cruel way, or whatever it may be defined as. Is that the mercy of the Lord? Is it the mercy of the Lord that the government provides a prison for prisoners? Is it the mercy of the government? Or is it cruel? Many ways of looking at this. How we can recognize. Ultimately, everything is indeed the mercy of the Lord, because He has your self-interest only in mind. So even your misbehavior is something we have to go through sometimes before we have the sufficient mercy of another kind, experience, etc. That doesn't justify our misbehavior. When you have some, let's say, little knowledge, for instance, of how you should behave in the society, you're expected to follow it, aren't you? And if not, then you do get punished. So, Krishna's mercy, He's making that available in the form of various scriptures, representatives, Himself, etc. And in human life, as being a life of responsibility, we're supposed to recognize that that is the mercy of the Lord, even if we don't understand beyond it, that His instructions are His mercy. And we try to apply them at whatever level we're on. It may be basic morality in the beginning. We try to apply them, and then gradually Krishna will give more and more eye-opening opportunities. In the beginning it's material. Religious Naimittika Dharma is basically material. Moral principles, do's and don'ts. Gradually coming up to a higher level of consciousness. Punishment in this world is also the Lord's mercy in another way. And proper behavior is another form of Krishna's mercy. And chastisement is another form of Krishna's mercy. So we get corrected. So how do we understand it? Well, basically speaking, we hear from those who do understand it. At least in our normal life, you hear from your parents, you hear from the man, supposed to be from the administrators of society, you hear from the priest, you hear from this one and that one. What is the right thing to do from the teacher? We hear, and we try to, of course, there may be a lot of, let's say, cheating and a lot of misapplication going on. But the principle is there. We hear from the source, or those who know, or the right directive, and we try to follow that. And gradually one's eyes open and we start to see, step by step, when you look back on your life, Mum was right after all. Daddy was right after all. We didn't realize it at the time. But as you grow, you start to realize that, yes, that was correct. In fact, that was really for my good. I mean, we've all had that experience in our lives, I'm sure, in devotional life too. Sometimes we're put into a situation we don't know why, and then later on we look back and we see, well, that was really was Krishna's mercy that happened in my life. We may not be ready to hear it on the spot, but it may come a little bit in, and then we can help others to see it a little bit more clearly. It'll be confirmed, usually, by those who are, if we have our spiritual, whatever, inspirations, our spiritual guides, and so on. It'll be confirmed by Guru Shastra Sadhu. And there's a very interesting incident, for instance, in the early days of ISKCON with Srila Prabhupada and Brahmananda. Brahmananda was not sannyasi or otherwise then, he was just a young devotee. Prabhupada gave him in charge for the finances, like the treasurer of a little centre in New York. And Brahmananda went into a deal with one man and he got cheated to purchase a house. And eventually Prabhupada got most of the money back, but initially they lost $5,000. And Brahmananda, taking this other angle, said, Srila Prabhupada, it must be Krishna's mercy. But Prabhupada didn't exactly go along with that line of thought. He said, this is not Krishna's mercy, this is your foolishness. So is foolishness Krishna's mercy? If we learn, as Prabhupada, the mercy here is that Prabhupada is pointing out that your attitude or your whatever consciousness is not correct. So the mercy there was if he learnt that lesson and didn't behave in a whimsical way in such a way. Many little examples like that, which we hear. The mad elephant example, a man who's saying, Krishna's in my heart, he's controlling everything, I don't have to worry. Krishna's looking after everything. And then he's walking along the street and there was one mad elephant going amok, crushing everything, smashing everything. And everyone's shouting, get off the street, there's a mad elephant, there's a mad elephant. And this fellow is thinking, I don't need to worry about a mad elephant. Krishna's in my heart. He's guiding the wanderings of every living entity. He'll protect me. I have nothing to worry. And all of a sudden the mad elephant comes up towards him, boom! Smashes him flying into the bushes or something. He's lying there with broken bones. And, what happened? What happened? Why didn't Krishna tell me? And he's thinking, no, he's like, what happened? And then the other man, the owner of the elephant, was shouting, move out the way. He said, what happened? He said, Krishna, why did Krishna allow this to happen? Why didn't he tell me? He said, and the man said, he did. You fool, he told me through you, through me rather. He told you through me. So we have to hear from others too, not just in our own perspective of the situation. How is Krishna mercy working? What does it mean? You know, Krishna's mercy there would be Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji they call him. I made a stupid mistake. Please, you know, guide me, what shall I do now? Not justifying it. Oh. Learning our lessons, Krishna's mercy. Different ways. Opportunity. An opportunity to, you know, become, let's say, conscious, pleasing to Krishna in the first place, not afterwards only, but to try to have the attitude which pleases Krishna. That's what he wants. So, of course, Brahmananda changed his attitude from that instance. So, in that way, it's another angle. When we see that chastisement or corrections, etc., not easy to take. Sometimes we take them and you'll see the beneficial effects. Seeing Krishna's mercy, the result in our consciousness. You can say it's Krishna's mercy when we see that our relationships, our feelings of natural devotional qualities start to manifest in your life. Compassion and so on. There's a big topic, how to recognize that. Mercy of Krishna. An advanced devotee sees it in every situation. And we're still not on such an advanced level, and we're still seeing it mostly in relationship to the results of how I feel, what the result of the activity is, and so on, how other people respect me. It just takes a little time as we grow up. Okay, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. These two books seem to have got very attached to each other.
His Holiness Nanda Goswami